Sorry for the disturbance in the mic. I forgot to switch off the fan. So please bear with me for the voice audio quality. Hello everyone. Welcome to the second part of Visual Basic video where we are going to discuss a few things from chapter 8. Okay. So last time we finished the video, we had num1, num2 and we had the add button. And on the left side we had students and working, and on the right side we had these four options. So this is what we had already added on the screen in the form. Next, we have added a few new things here, like we have added text box for the basic HRA, LTA, CA and the total, and we have added checkboxes for the same options here on the right side, that is for the working people. Okay, so going from the start, if you select student, you can select these four options, and from here you can either add items or remove items. This is the new thing that we will see today, and this is a picture which I have inserted, which can be enlarged and make full screen to make it as a background. We will see that later. So, and we have added the buttons for subtract, multiply and divide. Okay, so separate buttons for that because we have added checkboxes for that. So what we are going to do right now is see the coding of all these things, how it is working. Now what will happen is, if you select student and then you select, let's say, these two options here, then you will enter two numbers here and you click on the add and the subtract button. So you will get the two outputs because you have selected these two in the checkbox. Okay, let's say we have selected working, so you will select all the options from here, whatever is required, and enter the same options here, and then click on total to get the total salary, which will also include deduction of tax, which we have added in the formula. Okay, so these are the things, and on the top you have the list box where you have a list of items in which you can either add item or remove item from the buttons. We will see the code for both the buttons as well. So let me go to the code window for all of them one by one. We will see how it works. Okay, pay attention on the right side. When I say properties, on the right side you will see the properties of that particular thing. First we will look at the picture box. So I'm going to add a picture box, and once we add the picture box from the toolbox here, like so, click and drag, right? I can click and drag it anywhere, and then you have to go to the properties of the picture box where the image, you can see it says none on the right side. So I click on the three dots here and I go to a local source because I want to get an image from the computer, and then I can click on import and go to any folder, and then I can import a picture, like let's say for example this one. Okay, and click on OK. So now I have that image here, which I can also set as a background if I click and drag from the corner to make it a background. Okay, the only thing is it's not going to the background right now. Okay, so like if you see this image, which is of a calculator, I can move it in the background. Okay, if I move up, it moves in the background of the buttons. So whatever we added earlier, like the add button was already there and student working was already there, that all will be hidden by the image because that was added earlier before adding the picture. So if you want the picture to be in the background of everything, first thing you will add is the picture box and enlarge it to the full screen. So it will go in the background, and then you can add all the buttons, labels, radio buttons, checkboxes, everything. Okay, so as of now I'm just going to delete this picture box and I'll come to this one which is already added here. So on the right side you can see I have inserted this, right? And if you see, I have it on the stretch one. So if you keep it on stretch, it will particularly fit into the size that you have selected. If you clicked on none, then it goes to its original image size, which is going out of the box, so you will only get a part of the picture. Okay, if you select tile, then still it's going outside. If you select center, still going outside. Only if you put it to stretch, it is going to fit exactly inside the size that you have selected, right? So this is the properties of the toolbox or the picture box, sorry. After this, I have added the checkboxes. So we have already seen how to add a checkbox. You just need to click and drag, and then from the right side where it says text, you have to change the name. Once you're done with that, again you will add text boxes here to take input of the numbers for salary components. Basic, HRA is house rent allowance, LTA is leave traveling allowance, and CA is conveyance allowance, right? So these are the components of salary, and when you add all these, a particular amount of tax is deducted, so that formula is there in the total button. Now we have added 4 text boxes. We have added label for the 4 text boxes, because if you remove the label, you will not know which box is for which thing. So we have added that, and we have added buttons. Now wherever you are getting output, let's say for example this button, add item, it adds an item to the list. So if you double click on it, you will see the code of it which says dim my item. So it is an declaration of variable which is my item, which is a text. So you don't have as integer after my item here, because this is not a number. We are taking input as text. So we have my item equal to input box, enter your item. Whatever is put in the input box, it will be added to the list box. Listbox.items.add, and in the bracket it is passing the value of my item which is entered by the user. So this small code here is taking input from the user and adding it to the list. Okay, so we will see how it works at the end of the explanation. As of now, I'm just going to explain the code one by one, what it does. Okay, then we have remove item. So this code is exactly the same. Instead of add, we have remove here. That is the only difference. The rest everything is same. So here again you have dim my item equal to input box, and enter the name of the item you want to remove. Listbox1.items.remove. Here the only difference is remove, and then you are still passing the same variable in the brackets. Okay, then you have basic, HRA, LTA, CA. So if you are clicking here, it should ask you for this value. Okay, so that condition I have put in the checkboxes itself. If you click on the addition checkbox, it will check if checkbox1.checked equal to true. That means if the checkbox is checked, then you have to show a message, enter 2 number in the boxes above, calculate button, and click on add. So the user has to enter 2 numbers in the boxes above the add button and click on add to get the addition or the output. Same thing is there for subtraction. Okay, so the message is only changing in the last, and click on subtract. Instead of click on add, I have done click on subtract. So if checkbox2.checked equal to true, then messagebox.show, it is going to show a message to the user, enter 2 numbers in the boxes above the calculate button and click on subtract. And it is just one condition, so it is just checking whether the checkbox is checked or not, right? Then same thing will be applicable for multiply. You can see the same code, just the name of the button changes here, and for divide. Okay, so it is checking if checkbox is ticked. If it is ticked, then it will ask for the numbers and ask the user to click on the respective button which is there for that type of calculation. Okay, now the add button already had this. It is checking if the number is entered or not, the value entered in the box is a number or not, and then it is taking 2 values from the text box and adding it and showing it as sum. So same code I have just copy pasted here for difference, where here I have just replaced the plus with the minus and this word with difference. So this is a new variable difference which is storing the subtraction answer. Same way in multiply. Okay, so yeah, right here in the button. Same way in multiply, again it is checking if the numbers are entered in the box, and it is using a new variable prod, that is product, and it is multiplying the 2 values in the box and showing the product. Okay, and in divide again it will be the same thing. It will check if the value entered is numeric, If it is not, it is going to show the value, that is please enter numeric value. And if it is numbers, then it will go ahead with the division with integer div as a variable, storing the division, that is slash, of value box 1 and 2, well, text box 1 and 2, the values. So it will show the quotient because we are using this sign. This sign is used for getting the quotient, not the remainder, right? You can, if you want, you can add a button for remainder and put the percentage sign here instead of divide, so it will give you the modulus, that is the remainder. So this is about the student part. So you select the student, you select any 2 or 3 or all of them, and you enter the values and click on the respective buttons. Okay, now coming to the working part. So if you select working here and you select these 2, 3, 4 options, checkboxes. So again we have, if checkbox 5.checked equals to true, then you have to enter the value in basic salary, and same thing will be applicable for HRA. So enter the house rent allowance, and same thing for LTA, which is enter leave traveling allowance, and same thing for CA, which is conveyance allowance, right? So if it is checked, it will ask you for the value. Simple. Okay, once you have entered here, last option is total. So let's look at the code of total. Now what are we doing here? We are checking text box 3, 4, 5, 6 all should have numeric values, right? Same thing that we have done for add, subtract, multiply and divide. And we have valuables or variables declared here, which is salary, total salary, tax. So we are first going to calculate the salary by adding all the values which are entered in all the 4 boxes, that is HRA and we have CA, traveling allowance and all the things, and you are going to calculate the tax. So tax is, let's say for example 5%. So it will just calculate the tax here, and then it will, from the total salary, it will deduct the tax. So salary will be this amount that is entered in the box, it will add everything, minus the tax is going to be the total salary. That is what it will display. So that is what we have done here. The total salary is the total sal, and it will also show how much tax is deducted. So whatever calculation is going on here, it will show to the user. Okay, so this is what this program is going to do. Now I will press F5 and let's run the program. It's taking a lot of time to build it. Okay, so once it comes up, first we will check the student part and then we will check the working part. Alright, let it load. Still loading. Okay, got it, right. So here we have, first we will go to this and let's say we will try these 2 options. Okay, and then we have to click on these 2 boxes after entering the values here. So I am going to try this. Student mode activated, addition, enter 2 numbers in the box above calculate button and click on add. It is giving you the message. I click on subtraction, again it says enter 2 numbers in the boxes above calculate button and click on subtract. So I'm going to enter 2 numbers here and I'm going to click on add, which will give me the sum, and subtract, which will give me the difference. So I have ticked these 2 options. I'm going to click on these 2 buttons. Clear? Then if I select working, then it goes to working mode activated. So you have to enter the basic HRA, LTA and CA. Why? Because we have to select one by one all of them. So first it says enter basic salary because I ticked on basic. So let's say for example I'm entering the basic salary. Then I click on HRA. So it says enter house rent allowance. Let's say I enter any amount. Then I click on LTA. It says enter the LTA. So let's say this is the LTA. And then I click on CA, which is conveyance allowance, and let's say this is the conveyance allowance. Now I click on the total. So it says the total salary is this much and the tax deducted is this much. So it is giving you all the calculations as you require. So this is the basic program. Now coming to the list box, we have anything else. We have bags, uniforms and books. Now how did this anything else come here? Because there was no anything else in the list here, right? So I'll just close the program, go to the list box, and just look at the button or the programming that is done for the list box. So when you go to the list box, I'll just try to check if add, okay, add is there, remove is there, that's fine. Okay, so there is something called as adding items in the runtime. Okay, that is what we have done here. I'll just need to find out the code where it is, because I added the boxes and the things randomly, so it's not, the code is not added in a sequence here, right? So that is one thing that you have to take care of. If you're making a big program, add everything in a sequence so you can easily find it. Okay, I might have to go up on the top. Right, okay, so here you can see form 1 load, and then as soon as the form 1 loads, you have listbox1.items.add, and it says anything else. So this is by default adding anything else to the list when I run the program. It is only adding it when I run the program, when the form 1 is loaded. So by default it is not there in the list. When I run the program, it is there. This is called adding something in runtime, that is when you run the program. Same thing you can do for removing. So just replace this add with remove and it will remove. So we'll again go to the code or the window basically, and we will try to see whether we can add or remove. So this is anything else. I want to remove it. I have to type it, right? So anything else. Done. I click on OK. That item is removed from the list now. Alright, and I want to add an item. Let's say for example ID. There is no ID in the list, so I want to add it. As soon as you click on the add item, it will ask you to enter a text here. You click on that and click on OK. ID is now added to the list, right? So this is your list box. On the left you have add item, on the right you have remove. Okay, now the coding we have already seen. When you go to add item, it is taking input, that is your add item, and this is for removing the item. And if you go on the top, this is adding items in runtime when you run the program. So that item is not there in the list already, only added when it is in the program, when you run the program. So these are all the things that you have in Visual Basic. That is chapter 8, the second chapter on Visual Basic. Apart from this, you have loops. So in short, I have explained loops in the class already, but you can see some conditional structures and loops here as well. So if you see here, it is if, else, and end if. This is if, else, if loop. Okay, this is going on from if, else, if, and else. So we are checking for two conditions, that both the text boxes should have numeric value. Okay, then we also have if then, the simple if then, that is there, and you can see it is if then, and then you have the message, so it is simple if then. And apart from this, you have end while while do and while end. So do while and while end, these are the two other loops that you have, which are similar to if then. The only thing is you are specifying the ending point or the false condition there. Okay, so that is the only difference between the if loop and the do while or while and do, right? So that is where we end the chapter. That is all that we have in this chapter. I hope you don't have any doubts. If you do have any doubts, you can ask me in the class when you come on Wednesday or Friday this week. That is from 1st, or you can say 28th to 4th. We will have one class on 2nd and one class on Friday, that is 4th. 8 Jupyter people can ask on Wednesday, and 8 Mars and Neptune can ask on Friday. So see you in the class. If you have any doubts, please do ask. Bye bye.